There's a view from my rut hunting funnel stand here at the edge of a CRP field and hardwoods. My back is against the hardwoods right behind me here. The wind here blows from all different directions all the time, and there are often deer bedded above me. Well, this is what you need to do. You need to hunt where the deer feel secure, where they have those wind changes, and you have to take a risk. I'm up here in a 13, 14 feet up in a nice little mobile tree stand setup. So that'll help a little bit with the wind. Stay tuned. There's a buck coming in now. Oh, there he is. I have to get the grunt call out. Today I'm hunting the edge of some super thick brush. A super awesome bedding for an escape route for deer that are hunted in the firearm season, and they stay in here in the late season. There's not a whole lot of sign right here right now, but there is some sign. And they're still staying in the thick stuff behind me. However, when I've hunted here in the late season before, the doe came across this little meadow here from the other side where they were probably bedded. And they gave me a 10-yard shot last January. This is a really cool place to hunt. And I'm going to see what it is during the peak of the rut. Any bucks in the area are going to know that there's doe here bedded, so I could get a shot at a buck, but I'll be just as happy to take a mature doe. Let's see what happens. It's opening day of the Pennsylvania firearm season. Got my 30-30 with 1 to 5 power scope. It's a nice gun. This morning there were 13 pickup trucks in this basic hunting area. And there were 7 parked in the exact parking lot where I was. So there were a lot of guys in the woods, but they all hunted closer to the road than I am. And there was some shooting this morning, but not as much as I thought there would be. And the deer did not get pushed around to me like I thought they would be. So 2 hours after first light, I just saw one deer 30 yards in front of me, right here. This area there. I only saw it for a few seconds. It was sneaking through the brush, and that one had been pushed by some hunters that were closer to the road. And then around 11, I heard And I saw and I heard a deer sneaking in close to me up the bank where there's a fallen down tree. It's good bedding. And it was a small deer. And it bedded down immediately, and I could not see it at all. I spent over half an hour trying to see it, and I could not see it, even though I knew it was there. I had my binoculars. I could not see it. 25 yards from me, it bedded in this thick brush. So I finally stood up after 30 minutes, and soon after I stood up, it bounded away. So that's why they call it hunting. But the thermals are pulling up the ridge. So it should have been thermals should have been going right to that deer, so maybe it was blowing over the deer, but I think I found a nice little bedding area here. That seems to be better in the later seasons too. This is a spot that there were a couple bucks showing up last year on my trail cameras back in here. That I picked up 3 that survived the season. 2 of them were not legal, but the one was a half rack 10 point. He's definitely survived the season. But I think the pressure puts them back in here, and this area should get better as the season goes. And I won't be back here until late archery season. Try it in the evening. But right here is where the deer came through, right above me, right up here, in this thick stuff. And I just could not see it bedded. It's the second Saturday in the Pennsylvania rifle season. And this morning, I set up near where a trail camera has revealed there's a big buck here in August. But this is the first time I've really hunted it seriously. And it was really foggy this morning. And the deer came right in here 25 yards, and the thickest, there's a blowdown up here. And it bedded down, I'm sure. I never saw it. And then a while later, off to my right, another one came in. And you could clearly hear it coming through the brush. And I could hear the footsteps, but I couldn't see it. So my mistake was I'm set in the very bottom of this drainage, and even though they do come down here for water, I need to be just 7 yards up on top of this bank where there's a shelf where the deer are actually moving. And I should be able to get a much better shot, even though I'm hunting with a rifle. I literally can't see too well where they're moving because I'm only about 3 feet above the ground because I'm down in this ditch. So I don't have any advantage of a tree stand here. So I'm going to move right here. This tree right there in front, that little red oak, I'm just going to move and climb up that thing. But the deer, one of them came through on the right side here. Sounded like a big deer. And one came on the left, right here. I haven't seen him. I'm not high enough, I can't even see him in this thick brush yet. But I'm going to move. In case more deer do that, I want to be prepared. This morning was a beautiful morning. It was really misty. A lot of mist forming everywhere. It was difficult to drive. But this morning, a deer came right in here. I could hear it moving through the thick brush and dropped. I assume it bedded. It might actually still be there, I'm not sure. And then another one came through here off to my right. and where there's a strip of heavy brush. That one came in pretty close, 25 yards or so, but I never saw it. I'm not set up right. I'm set in the bottom of this drainage, and I cannot see high enough up into this bedding area. So I'm simply going to move, even though I'll probably spook out maybe a deer or two. You got to be set up right, no matter if you're hunting with a firearm or a bow or a net lattice. It doesn't matter. You've got to be set up strategically so you have an advantage, and I'm not at an advantage right now. I moved about 7 yards from the bottom of the drainage up to this little shelf up on the bank, and it makes all the difference. If I had set up here in the morning, I would have had a chance at 2 different deer. Now, the thermals in the morning were blowing down the mountain, and the wind was in my favor. Of course, now it's in the afternoon, the thermals are blowing up the mountain. It's a combination of this southwest wind this way and the thermals going back up this way. It's a good place for deer to bed, and they do bed in here. There could be half a dozen whitetails within 100 yards bedded here. But nobody seems to want to bother to hunt these spots because it is thick. But this is where the deer are going to be if they're going to be somewhere. They're going to be in this thick stuff. So I'm just going to sit it out the rest of the day. Hopefully something stands up before dark and gives me a shot. So I was in this dead tree right here, right there. And now I moved up. Now I got a great shot down here. There's a little lane here where it's easy walking. And there's super thick stuff. This is bedding area all around me. So I'm hopeful that before nightfall, something will appear and give me a nice shot. I'm set up in my favorite late season area. It is absolutely super thick here. Excellent bedding cover. Even in the late season, about half of this property you can't even walk through. Although I will do some thorough late season or after season scouting because I want to know exactly where they're bedding, and I don't yet. So I was gonna hunt where I got a 10-yard shot at a doe last winter, but on the way there, the first little ridge that I crested had good sign. Probably found about a half dozen deer droppings within 15-20 yards of where I'm set up now. But as you can see, this wind is crazy. It's around 25 miles per hour constantly with gusts up to 40. And so I just hope this tree that I'm in stays put, doesn't go down. If it does, I'm just holding on to the tree and hoping for the best. About 20 yards there maximum. About 20 yards there maximum. That's just a pine, larger pines. But right here and off to the right is this super thick cover. And this is the 4th time I've been in here this year. 3 times in the late season. And this is my 4th time. Now over there you can see where there's a weed field, the high grasses, which they really like in the late season. And that's where I was hunting in the late season last year, and I missed a doe. That's where I was going to go, but when I see fresh sign, I'm setting up. That's my new motto. If it's fresh, I'm setting up. There's a big heavy trail through here I found last year, but I highly suspect that the deer will walk right set up. I should get a 20-yard or less shot with my crossbow. I'll just stick it out as long as I can.